The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
There it goes.
You said previously that you got the gig as the Grappler because you had previously been known to wear a mask. So let me ask you, was it your decision to wear a mask in the beginning, or was the idea presented to you and you went with it? What was the story?
No, I was in Atlanta. And remember they had Channel 17, Ted Turner.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Barnett on the territory. Ole Anderson was the booker. And everybody wanted to come. Everybody wanted to come to the Superstation to get that, press on them, like on Channel 17, it's worldwide. It was the only worldwide station we had at the time, right? So all the big stars come in. Well, I was in Atlanta, but I was a job boy. And so what Ole would do, he'd go, okay, you go in the first match on TV and wrestle with Lynn Denton, and the fourth match is the challenger with a blue mask. So I would get beat 4 times on TV for the same pay. So I mean,
I was going to ask you. You didn't get double pay.
No, sir, no double payoff, baby. Rookies are glad to have a job. Okay.
Yep. Oh boy. So I once again, Ole's reputation stands true. Oh boy.
Of course.
How we get a lot of guys talking about Ole Anderson and really not digging him. How were you with Ole? How did he treat you?
Ole was the asshole, just like Bill Watts, okay? I know y'all hear it all. But you know something? He had a mind for booking wrestling and promoting and running shows. He was very, very intelligent in that. He wasn't the nicest son of a bitch you ever met, okay? He was a hard ass to me, especially as a rookie. I'll tell you one time, this is what happened in Marietta, Georgia. He goes, I went out and I worked with Rick Martel, which, man, it's like a night off. Rick Martel, he was one of the best ever, right? So I'm in like the third match, and I got all excited. Now, back in that day, you don't go out of the ring unless you're in the main event or the semi. You don't go out of the ring on the floor. You don't use chairs. You don't do none of that stuff. That's for the main event or the semi, okay? So I was on like third match, and me and Rick, I got excited, threw him out on the floor, and give him an ass bump on the floor to reverse it into the post and all this stuff. And man, people were going crazy. When I cut the corner in the dressing room to come back, Ole snatched me by the throat and slammed me against the wall. You stupid son of a bitch! I tell you to go out on the floor. Was choking the hell out of me. I said, man, I was about, I don't know, I might have been 200 pounds at that time. Okay, so here's Ole Anderson choking the hell out of me. I'm still just a kid. I think I was like 19 at that, and finally let go. Hey. I think it was Stan Hansen goes, hey, untold Monster, let him go. So he chewed my ass out. You don't go out on the floor. You don't ever do that. That's for the, it's like, okay, I'm sorry. That's Ole Anderson. So the next month we're there. No, 2 weeks later we're there in Marietta. I'll never forget. And him and Stan Hansen, when they were really had a lot of heat in the match, it was like getting hot, and people was fixing to hit the ring, and they're coming back. They're kind of semi-riding. And I'm standing in the back watching the match. I'll never forget. I'm looking right at Ole, him and Stan are coming, and this motorcycle guy, whatever he was, he had a motorcycle helmet in his hand, the leather's on. He come running. I seen him running. I could have cut the guy off, but I said, the hell with it. He popped Ole in the back of the head with that damn helmet, about knocked his lights out. Brother, he went to put down to his knees. He sold the shit out of that, brother. And the guy took off running right by me. I just let him go. He went out the back door and kept going. And so when we got to the back, Ole's rubbing his head. He had a big old knot. And he looks at me. He goes, you son of a bitch. I know you could have stopped him. I know. I said, Ole, I didn't even see the guy, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jimmy, that's almost like a Spider-Man scene. You know that?
No kidding.
And
no kidding.
You know what I find amazing? Ole is so thoroughly evil that even after being conked on the back of the noggin, he knows in his heart, and he's processed it, despite probably having a concussion, that you could have stopped it. Right. That's hilarious. Oh no.
Let me tell you the one thing I really turned me on Ole Anderson. I mean, I'm sorry, the man's in a wheelchair or whatever the hell he is, right? But I'm saying, you know, I wouldn't wish it on nobody. I ain't that kind of person. But I tell you what, one time at Channel 17, you know, people back in the day, they'd come up, guys, kids would come up, different people. Well, I want to be a wrestler. I've been trained. I want to be a wrestler. You know, get out of here, man. No, I ain't got time to train you, whatever. Oh, this basically, you could now, back then you could say it. Now it's, what's the word for it? Mentally retarded is what it was, okay? Mentally challenged or whatever guy. Right. So he goes, and only knew the guy was mentally challenged. He had him film it. He got in the ring and he beat the shit out of this guy. Ruptured him, had him bleeding. I think he broke his arm. I mean, come on, dude. And then the next Saturday, before TV started, he had him play it out on the screen. Like, you know, we're sitting there watching the TV. He said, hey, let me show you my best match. And all, he thought it was funny. And even some of the man guys like, they just kind of turned their stomach like, that's bull. That's crazy, man. That's just kind of mind that bastard had. You know what I mean?
Is it just
and that was our boss? That was our boss.
Right. Is it just a sign of the times back then that someone like Ole Anderson, I mean, the things you're describing, obviously you could never get away with today, but I mean, is it the sign of the times back then that a guy like that could have numerous years of a successful career and he's doing this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, brother. No, they would never he wouldn't last 1 week nowadays, you know, but I'm just saying because they go, there ain't no bull. You imagine if he'd done that at Vince McMahon, heard about that, he'd never see a job again, right?
It's interesting you say that.
That's the way it was. It's like, it was like a locked-in business, you know, kind of like the mafia started, like, you know, like, I mean, it was like this. I'm telling you, when I was I knew this already, but when I was in Mid-South for Watts, I had the North American title, I had one half Louisiana title, and the Mississippi title, right? Mm-hmm. The only reason is because I could wrestle good. And he had wrestling guys for the Freebirds and the Junkyard Dog. He had gimmicks already. He did wrestling heel. That's why I had the belt, because I was great to beat everybody. But he goes, but he say this, he goes, hey, and I used to run with Murdoch all the time, drinking, going to them honky tonks, because I'm from Texas too, right? Sure. He goes, I'm going to tell you something. Here's the thing. You got all the belts, man. He said it right in front of everybody at TV. This mainly goes to you. If you get your ass whooped, don't come back to work because you're fired. If you can't protect the business, we don't need you. Especially if you're my champion, you're done. So I told Murdoch, right, after he watched all that, everybody goes, oh, shit. So after it's on, I looked at Dickie. I go, and Dickie goes, you heard what Bill said? I said, yeah. But I said, Murdoch, you know what Watts don't know? I wear a fucking mask. They ain't know who I am. He goes, you fucking asshole, I'll stooge on you. He wanted to the prick.
You know what? That is a great point. I got to ask you.